Now, from WYDC TV, this is Big Fox News at 10.
We begin tonight in Elmira, where a man is dead following a shooting late last night. Big Fox's Matt Kleindienst joins us with what we know now.
Good evening, and police are still looking for a suspect after a deadly shooting was reported just outside of Elmira College. At approximately 10:15 last night, police were called to the 600 block of Park Place after reports of gunshots. Police encountered a man in the middle of the street who had been shot. After applying aid, the victim was transferred to nearby Arnott Ogden Hospital, where he later died from his injuries. The name of the victim has not been released at this time. Police say the victim had been chased along 5th Street before being shot, indicating that this wasn't a random act. Residents are being asked to keep an eye out for the suspect. He's described as a black man with muscular build and short hair. Police say he was wearing a royal blue hoodie with dark pants and dark shoes. Anyone who witnessed the shooting or has any information related to the suspect is asked to call Elmira Police. Matt Kleindienst, Big Fox, WYDC in Corning.
A high school principal in New York behind bars and accused of sexually abusing several of his young students. Kirk Ashton served as principal of Northwood Elementary School in Greece for 17 years. He is charged with sexually abusing 9 boys at the school. State police say the alleged victims were between the ages of 9 and 12 at the time. The charges include first-degree sexual abuse, second-degree course of sexual conduct, and endangering the welfare of a child. Ashton has pleaded not guilty to all of the charges.
Using his position of power and authority, this predator preyed on these little boys. This guy, who was charged with guiding, mentoring, and protecting our children, used their innocence and trust to violate them. Making matters worse, he chose one of our most sacred institutions, our schools, to carry out these disgusting acts.
State police say they continue to investigate and believe there may be more victims. The Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices at the CDC delayed any action on the Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine, dealing another blow to the biggest vaccination project in American history. Jonathan Siri has the latest from Atlanta.
Still no decision on what to do about Johnson & Johnson. The company's vaccine was put on hold in the U.S. after at least 6 women developed rare blood clots. On Wednesday, the CDC Vaccine Advisory Committee met to review the data, but adjourned before making a decision, saying they need more information. Much of the meeting explored the way the vaccine was developed and why there have been no major complications with the other vaccines currently in use in the U.S.
The AstraZeneca and Johnson & Johnson vaccines both use an adenovirus vector. These vaccines are different from the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, which are mRNA-based vaccines.
The White House says there are enough Pfizer and Moderna doses to fill the gap for now, but a growing number of healthcare centers are calling the pause a big setback because it's difficult in many underserved communities to get folks to keep their second appointments.
Having a 1 dose allows us to have those folks come in one time to receive that vaccination without having the pressure of coming back for another vaccination.
Meanwhile, the new surge in cases is accelerating. More than 75,000 reported on Wednesday. But states are still moving ahead at full speed with reopening plans, including California, where the governor is now ordering all schools to fully reopen for in-person learning.
Money's not an object now. It's an excuse. Again, I said resources and a resourceful mindset. That resourceful mindset is needed at this moment.
The Vaccine Advisory Committee is expected to meet again next week to review more data from Johnson & Johnson. In Atlanta, Jonathan Siri, Fox News.
The murder trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derrick Chauvin in the death of George Floyd has wrapped until Monday morning, when attorneys are set to deliver their closing arguments. After Chauvin told Judge Peter Cahill that he would not testify, the jury was brought back to hear rebuttal testimony from pulmonologist Dr. Martin Tobin. The state sought to debunk testimony from defense expert witness Dr. David Fowler that George Floyd had high levels of carbon monoxide in his blood that contributed to his death. Court is scheduled to reconvene at 9 o'clock Monday morning for closing arguments and jury instructions. A white U.S. Army soldier in South Carolina accused of assault and battery after confronting a black man outside of his home. A video of the incident has gone viral and has many people angry. Shay Simon has the story.
Out of my face.
This viral video capturing tense moments in the Summit neighborhood in Northeast Columbia on Monday.
I'm gonna move you.
42-year-old Jonathan Pitland seen standing on a sidewalk in front of a home, questioning a man for several minutes before eventually pushing him.
You better walk away. You walk away.
We're not going to let people be bullies in our community, and if you are, then you're going to answer for it.
Richland County Sheriff Leon Lott says Pitland was arrested early Wednesday and charged with assault and battery 3rd degree. Also confirming Pitland is actively serving in the U.S. Army and is stationed at Fort Jackson.
You keep following me, sir. There's only one way out of here.
That's assault and battery when you place your hands on someone, and he did. The video showed that he did, and that's the evidence that we have that he was charged with.
Deputies say after the camera stops rolling, Pitland pushes the victim again and knocks his phone out of his hand after the victim started taking pictures of his home.
Get out of here.
Then why?
Nobody picked a fight when someone ran up. All I heard was you fighting and her defending herself.
While deputies were on the scene Monday, officials say 2 other reports were made claiming the victim had an altercation with a young woman in the neighborhood.
There were some other things that occurred that really doesn't justify the actions of the suspect, and that goes into the victim. And again, I'm not going to identify the victim, and I'm just not going to do that. But there were some other issues that had occurred, but none of them justified the assault that occurred.
Sheriff Lott says the charge Pitland is facing is punishable by a $500 fine or 30 days in jail.
A Virginia police chief is calling the controversial traffic stop of a U.S. Army officer a teaching moment for his department. 2 Windsor officers pointed guns at the man, pepper sprayed him, and pushed him to the ground in the December incident. The chief says he wished the soldier had followed commands. Brendan Ponton has more.
Open the door slowly and get out!
The traffic stop of Army Lieutenant Karan Nazario has put the small town of Windsor in a very negative light. 1 officer has been fired, another remains on the force. And now for the first time, the police chief is answering questions about what happened.
That incident is out there, it's over, it's done. We can't take it back, we can't fix it. But what we have is an opportunity to build, to grow, to improve.
Officers Joe Gutierrez and Daniel Crocker pulled Nazario over back in December. The incident started when police said they did not see a rear license plate displayed on Nazario's SUV. Nazario said he drove to a better lit area, but the chief says his actions drew red flags from the officers. They pulled him over in a gas station parking lot with their guns drawn. The chief admits the officers could have done a better job de-escalating the situation verbally.
Those officers initially reacted relatively well, in my opinion. And as the event unfolded, there were some moments there where the use of force continuum, escalation of force, de-escalation of force, they actually were doing it. They came out with their firearms. Officer Gutierrez transferred to his taser, then eventually to his pepper spray, and they went hands-on. So that's coming down the use of force continuum. What they missed, though, was the opportunities to verbally de-escalate that situation.
Following the incident, police began an internal investigation, and it ended in January with unspecified disciplinary action. Nazario is now suing, and once video of the incident went viral over the weekend, the chief just now decided to fire Gutierrez.
As this thing kind of gathered legs and became viral, I personally felt that there was no way he could effectively serve our community anymore.
Officer Crocker remains on the force and was still being trained by the more experienced Gutierrez.
And if you've watched the video, you'll see there's several times in the video where Officer Crocker makes an effort to de-escalate that situation verbally with his mouth. That is somebody right there who has the makings of being a policeman.
As for whether Nazario is owed an apology, the chief said no.
I don't believe so. You know, Lieutenant Nazario took certain actions that created where we got to, and I think that, you know, we'll let the court sort that part of it out.
And now several agencies are looking into the incident. The chief says the FBI is as well. He says his 7-officer department is undergoing additional training to help prevent something like this from happening again.
Eldridge Park will soon welcome back visitors for the season. In a post on Facebook, the Elmira theme park announced that all rides and attractions will be open on May 28th. The park's president says the park will introduce new additions while maintaining COVID safety guidelines. Amusement parks are allowed to operate at 33% capacity, with guests and staff having to wear masks. Eldridge Park will be open on Fridays from 5 to 9 and Saturday and Sunday from noon to 9. Still ahead tonight, many Americans isolating due to the COVID-19 pandemic may have turned to food for comfort. Well, now a new study shows how it may have taken a toll on our bodies.
Weight gain during the pandemic is so common.
What 4 simple things doctors and fitness experts say you can do to get back on track.
Here's your local stock market update from Big Fox. Now, your Twin Tiers forecast from Big Fox.
Tonight's Big Fox forecast is brought to you by William Mattar. Good evening, everyone. I'm meteorologist Kim Walker with your weather update. Temperatures today, a drastic difference from yesterday, with temperature readings running about 20 degrees cooler than yesterday. We had some rain and, of course, a lot of clouds, and so that kept those temperatures mainly in the 40s, lower 40s at that, this afternoon. So as we head into tonight, those temperatures will continue to drop to around 35 degrees, partly cloudy to mostly cloudy conditions in the overnight. There could be a few showers as well. As we head into early tomorrow morning, those temperatures will actually warm up to around 38 degrees at 6 o'clock. But the moral of the story is it's going to be a cold start to our day and a little bit breezy as well. This low pressure system that is moving right across the northeast will land in the Atlantic tomorrow. On the backside of it, we are expecting much colder air that will result in the possibility of a wintry mix across some of our hometowns. But I think during the day on Friday, those temperatures will be warm enough where I'm expecting all the precipitation will be changing over to rain during the day. So as we start off the day tomorrow, temperature readings will be around 40 degrees at 8 o'clock with a few showers, and notice those temperatures will be well above freezing. So I think for us in Elmira and also in Corning, most of the precipitation will be falling as rain, but there will be some areas that could see a few snowflakes mixing in as well. So our future radar is showing at around 7 o'clock in the morning, there could be some snow mixing in with our rain, but we quickly warm up to above freezing during the day. And so that's going to be a wintry mix for the most part as we head into the afternoon. Again, I'm expecting all that to be switching over to rain during the day, especially in the afternoon to the evening hours. And so I'm expecting mainly rain in the afternoon into the evening. All this precipitation will be moving away from our area by 7 o'clock on Saturday. So here's a look at your forecast. For tonight, there could be some rain showers mixing in with some snow, especially for early tomorrow morning as we drop down into the 30s. Highs tomorrow, though, will be in the 40s, so any precipitation or any wintry precipitation will be changing back to some rain. Highs around 48 in Elmira and 47 degrees in Corning. Your extended forecast calls for a warming trend. Even though we have another round of rain on Sunday, we're going to top out at around 58 degrees. 60s could be possible early next week with more rain possible, and then we finally dry out on Wednesday, and cooler conditions will start to move in.
At the beginning of the pandemic, when a majority of U.S. states issued shelter-in-place orders to slow the spread of COVID-19, many people became sedentary, may have turned to food for comfort, and according to a recent study, may have gained weight. Mandy Gaither has a look at how the pandemic has affected our bodies in today's Health Minute.
Whether you spent your time on the couch or with some comfort carbs,
weight gain during the pandemic is so common.
In a study published in the medical journal JAMA Network Open, researchers looked at weight measurements of nearly 270 participants from the 1st of February to the 1st of June 2020. On average, those studied gained 1.8 pounds per month during shelter-in-place orders in March and April. If you're in the same boat, 4 simple things can help get you back on track. First, pump up the protein, says health and fitness expert Stephanie Mansour.
By eating more protein, you're going to help stabilize your blood sugar levels, which is going to cut down on that mindless grazing throughout the day.
Next, drink lots of water. Mansour says many people mistake being thirsty for being hungry. Before you eat anything, she says, have a glass of water. Third, make movement more fun. It may make you more likely to want to exercise.
Something that's attainable. It could be a 20-minute walk. It could be yoga stretching at your desk. It could be a ab routine in the morning to wake up your core and fire you up to start the day.
Finally, Mansour says to get your head in the game, give some grace instead of criticizing yourself.
Whatever you can say to yourself each and every day to foster a positive relationship with yourself is going to make you want to make healthier food choices and get in a workout.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
A husband once again has his wedding ring thanks to a stranger. He lost it while swimming in the American River in Sacramento, California. Anna Giles reports an expert diver happened to find it there.
Under the still and calm American River, expert diver Carl Bly has a razor-sharp eye for anything that stands out.
I've been doing this since I was 10 years old.
Carl does searches and rescues of lost stuff in the river all the time. So when he came across something gold, shiny, and round, he knew it was special.
I couldn't tell if it had been underwater for a day or a year.
He also had no idea how hard the husband who lost this wedding ring had been searching. Carl posted the find on social media, and Facebookers tracked down Adam Papini. Carl set up the ring return not far from where he found it. Sweet relief and joy between two strangers.
Right on, man.
It still fits.
That's me. You are my hero. Thank you.
Right on.
Adam remembers realizing his wedding ring slipped off during a casual swim.
I immediately went to the store and got snorkel gear, and I've been doing a search in the river bottom for the last week. For some reason, I still had faith that I would find it.
That faith came in the form of a diver determined to get this ring back to its happily ever after.
I'll remember this moment for the rest of my life, and I could pass this story eventually down to my grandchildren and share this with them. I will not lose it, I promise you.
With warmer weather and many people getting vaccinated, you may be anxious to travel. But if you plan to take a trip, experts say travel insurance may be the way to go. Mandy Gaither has details.
Planning a trip, but want to make sure you're covered in case of cancellation?
Travel insurance can give consumers peace of mind.
The Better Business Bureau says travel insurance can protect your purchase against potential canceled flights or changed itineraries, but a warning, not all policies will cover cancellations for a health scare or bad weather, but some of what's typically covered includes trip cancellation or delay, lost or stolen luggage, emergency medical assistance, and coverage for rental cars.
You want to carefully read the language that is in your coverage policy. You want to find out if you're covered in case of illness or theft, and if the coverage changes if you travel internationally. This is especially important if you or those who you're traveling with have health conditions.
The Insurance Information Institute says to expect to pay between 5 to 7% of the cost of your trip, and before you buy, do your research on the company.
You want to make sure you look for things like possible complaints and reviews.
And before buying travel insurance, know the difference between insurance and a cancellation waiver. While waivers provide some trip cancellation protection, they generally include more restrictions. For Consumer Watch, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Facebook is working on a new app for those looking for love online. The social media giant is testing a video speed dating app called Sparked. It's being developed by Facebook's in-house team for experimental apps. The test site describes the app as a faster way to meet your match. It says the app will be free and won't include public profiles, swiping, or direct messaging. To use Sparked, you will need to have a Facebook account. Dollar General is planning to add 20,000 workers this spring. This includes full and part-time staff in stores and at distribution centers. The discount retail chain is also hiring drivers for its private trucking fleet. The This latest hiring spree will expand the company's workforce by 13%. Now, unlike other retailers, Dollar General is thriving during the pandemic. It's set to open more than 1,000 stores this year. The American Humane Society says about 80% of lost pets are sadly never found. So one California woman is feeling especially grateful after she was reunited with her dog nearly a year after the dog went missing. Jonathan Horn has that story.
Where are you going? When it comes to telling time, a dog has no concept of a ticking clock. Michelle Frank says that's what makes Sienna especially loving.
And she would come darting through the back door to run up to me and give me kisses. If I would be gone 5 minutes or a day, she would be have the same amount of excitement.
But those sweet, unconditional greetings vanished in March 2020 when Sienna wandered out of their home's back gate and uncharacteristically never returned.
We assessed the situation and believed that someone must have just saw her out there, picked her up, and took her.
Michelle contacted the Humane Society, posted all over social media, and even offered a $250 reward, no questions asked. False alarms delivered gut punches, months turned into a year. Sienna's things got packed away in a box.
It was just daily, constant pain, not knowing if she was okay.
Sienna, meanwhile, was not very far away. Sienna was wandering stray here along Bancroft Drive in La Mesa on March 1st. She was dirty, but seemed okay. Someone brought her to the Humane Society where they scanned for a microchip. That's when Michelle got a phone call.
And I could not believe it. I kept asking, "Are you sure it's her?" And of course I start bawling.
2 hours later, this happened.
Oh. It was the best feeling ever. I still can't believe she's home.
Michelle says Sienna remembered all of her favorite spots in the backyard, as if a clock were no such thing.
What do you smell?
Michelle, on the other hand, knows full well she lost a year with her sidekick.
She's 11 now. She's a small dog. She's still pretty active. So I hope she has several more years left.
Years that could tick away like seconds to both of them.
We want to leave you with a smile tonight. A fan at Dodger Stadium paid the ultimate baseball price for a home run ball. Dodgers star Justin Turner belts one off Rockies pitcher John Gray out towards left center for his third home run of the season. And as he's rounding the bases, the recipient of his long ball is shown with yellow nacho cheese all over his hoodie. Turns out Turner's round tripper landed in that man's nachos. His snack and perhaps his clothes both ruined, but the guy got a souvenir and a great story, I guess, to tell his friends. The fan did say on the broadcast that Turner then paid for another order of nachos. From our whole team, thank you for joining us. We hope you have a great night.